The new Mirka Ultimax Ligno, the ultimate wood sanding abrasive. Have you ever been sanding wood, softwoods, hardwoods, resinous woods, birch, teak, but your abrasives are always clogging up and you're just wondering why? How do I stop this? Is there a solution? Well, Ultimax Ligno, there is a solution now. What's one thing a woodworker always feels? Lonely. Why? Because there's never been a specialized abrasive just for them. Well, you know what? Mirka's got you. And if you're in Australia, Go's got you. The new Mirka Ultimax Ligno is an absolute woodworking powerhouse. And today we're going to be unboxing it, telling you the features of it, what makes it special, what's new, why it's cool, why it's specifically just for woodworking, and we're going to be testing it as well. We've got a couple of other Mirka abrasives. We've got the Abranet and we've also got the Galaxy. So we've got 3 different wood types. We've got Tasmanian oak, we've got some MDF, and we've also got some just pine with this palette. And we're going to be putting them to the test, seeing how they work. So for all you people out there sanding timber, is this the first and last abrasive that you'll ever need? Let's get into it. So what's the main problem that people encounter when sanding different types of woods, timber, lumber, whatever you call it? Well, it's heat. When you're sanding any kind of wood, one of the key things you want to do is maintain the heat that's between the abrasive and the surface. Why is this important? Well, as you're sanding, if you build up heat, it's releasing the resins and it's melting those into the abrasive. So that's going to cause a lot of clogging in between the grains of the abrasive, and it's going to effectively ruin your abrasive really quickly. Good example, Mirka Galaxy. Fantastic abrasive, really cost effective. If you're sanding any plaster work, if you're sanding any, doors or anything like that, really great abrasive. But when it comes to woodwork, maybe not the best choice for you. Why is that? Well, it's not a net back abrasive for starters, it's a perforated abrasive. So there's more surface area of the grains and there's no special pattern, it's just straight grain. So what you actually got here is a lot of surface area when you're sanding. And so what we found with these is that when you're sanding hardwoods, it's building up a lot of heat, it's melting that resin, and it's getting stuck in the abrasive, effectively making it not work very well. And it's also detaching the abrasive from the Velcro because it's just getting clogged in there. Similarly, an Abranet or an Abranet Ace, a net backed abrasive, so this will work really well. However, again, you've got a lot of surface area, you're going to be building up more heat than you would with the Ligno, and we'll get into that shortly. Less heat than your Galaxy, but still enough to clog these up, probably faster than the Ligno. But we're going to be testing that as well. What have the mad wizards at Mirka Finland invented to solve this problem? Mirka Ligno. A couple of really cool things that make this abrasive special. Firstly, they've invented a completely new backing film. So this is a latex backing film. It's not seen in other abrasives and it's completely unique to this abrasive. What else have they done? Well, they've actually invented a really cool hourglass pattern on the abrasive that contains all the grains. You'll see that it's got this hourglass pattern. That's the grains. In between that are actually channels that allow the dust to flow through. How have they done this? Mirka have a patented innovative grain printing technology. They are the only people in the world to have this, and it allows them to print effectively anything they want grain on an abrasive. So for this abrasive, they tried over 60 different patterns, including printing Mirka in the grains on the abrasive, and they found that this hourglass shape was by far the most effective at addressing that heat issue. When it comes to the sanding industry, there's no better innovator or developer of technologies than Mirka, and that's why it's our key brand when it comes to dustless sanding, sanding in general. Their abrasives are second to none, and they invest so much money into R&D and all the testing that goes into that to make sure that there's always new products and there's always new developments that push the needle, that allow you to get better results, save money by not using as many abrasives, help the environment, and get a better finish. So if you can do all 3 of those things, you're winning in my opinion. And so typical of Mirka, sustainability is a core focus of this abrasive, and that's why their production process is extremely low energy usage. They actually plant trees for all the trees that they use to make these abrasives, and they also recycle the energy used to make these abrasives into powering the factory at Mirka in Finland. So really taking sustainability to the next level, and that's pretty cool, especially on a consumable item that you're using all the time. It's nice to know that Mirka's putting in the effort to focus on that. So what is the grain made up of? So it's a ceramic and aluminium oxide compound, and the idea behind it is to be as sharp as possible so that way it cuts into the fibers of the timber. So we want to get a really sharp, hard cut, but we also want to deliver a really nice, clean finish. Well, that's what they've tried to achieve with this abrasive. I won't bore you too much. One last feature that they've actually tried to embed into this abrasive is they've invested in making sure that the edges are more durable on this abrasive. So Mirka listened, they heard your feedback. Typically with woodwork, you're bumping into edges a lot and you're getting a lot of tears, you're getting a lot of rips and, you know, breaks in your abrasive. So they've worked to make the edges more durable so that way that happens less. So let's put it to the test and let's get it. So these are the last abrasives I'll ever need for timber sanding, or should I just throw them out? You didn't think we'd waste abrasives, did you? That's not very sustainable. If you're rough like me, it doesn't matter. Fold them up, crease them. Another really cool thing is that because of the new backing design, they've been able to impression the grains deeper into the pad. So that means you can fold it up, crease it, and no grains are coming off, no cracking's happening. You can fold it out, slap it on your sander, no problems. So here's the test, here's what we're gonna do. I got 3 P120 abrasives. You can see that, printed on the front of the Galaxy, printed on the front of the Ligno. It's on the back with the Abranet, so I guess I couldn't get it on the front. But 3 120s, Abranet, Galaxy, Ligno. Gonna take pretty much a panel each here, and we're gonna compare them. Then we're gonna do the same with the hardwood and also with the MDF. So we're gonna set the bar straight away with the Ligno, hopefully set the bar high. We're gonna start with that, then we'll go with the Abranet, then the Galaxy, and we'll see how they stack up. So as you can see, each 3 piece is pretty much the same in terms of condition. They're pretty rough. Maybe this one's a little bit rougher than the others, but it's pretty close, pretty comparable. So let's get into it. You'll have to forgive me because, as you can see, I've torn up the edges quite a bit, but I should be using a Dios sander, which is the rectangular or square sander for this, because obviously that's what I'm sanding, and what's happening here is I'm actually quite aggressively smashing into these really rough edges. So considering that, and considering how much I bumped into these edges, that's pretty good. But what is actually impressive is the fact that there is no dust or clogging at all, not even the slightest. Like, that looks like a completely brand new abrasive, and it feels like one too. And if we pull it off, you can clearly see the dust being drawn towards these holes. It's pretty cool, and that's pretty good. Like, it was really rough before, to go from 0 to 120, pretty impressed with that. There's a little bit, like a really light amount of swirling in here, not a lot at all. I think if I was to keep at this a little bit more or go over it with a 180, it would be perfect for varnishing, staining, or whatever. Yeah, be a great finish. So that's the Ligno. Abranet now, 120 grit, let's get into it. So, Abranet done. As you can see, again, with the edges, smashing into it. Should be using the Dios. I don't actually have the Ligno in the Dios at the moment. You can see pinching, it pinches up because it's a net back abrasive, so instead of tearing, it'll usually pinch and fold. But again, still really good dust extraction. You see, I don't know if you saw that, but when I pulled it off, there was a little bit of dust come out of that, so held onto a little bit of dust. Still really sharp, still clear, little bit of pigtailing, tiny bit. It's really soft pine, so going from, you know, this harsh surface to sort of a smooth surface, you usually see that. Took a little bit longer to sand than the Ligno, I think. I think I got a better finish out of the Ligno quicker. It does feel a little bit more sort of in shape. Yeah, I'd say Ligno's still on top at the moment. Let's try the Galaxy. So just to recap, Ligno, Abranet Ace. So you can see similar finishes. They both feel smooth. They both look smooth. Pretty impressive, pretty quick. Ligno a little bit faster to get the job done. And the finish, I would say, is almost identical, but you would expect that out of Abranet Ace. It does always provide an amazing finish. Price-wise, I'm not sure where the Ligno will be at, so it might be a little bit more cost-effective, but yeah, anyway. So, got the Galaxy on, let's get into it. So, Galaxy. Really surprisingly, the Galaxy edge actually held up, you know, probably the best. However, I wasn't smashing it into the edges as much as I was on the Ligno. That was pretty rough getting into this edge. But still, it's folded around, so that's pretty impressive. You can see dust build up already though. You can see it sort of build up here, in there. I don't know if you can see that slight discoloration. You can definitely see it sort of with the eye. You can sort of see a bit of dust build up there. Still feels really sharp, like obviously it would. You're only sanding this slight little patch, but yeah, definitely already seeing a bit of dust there. Took the longest out of the three, that's for sure. Some deeper sort of divots in this section, so we'll ignore that. Finish-wise, still really good. All three so far, really good finish. The Ligno is definitely smoother. It's definitely a lot smoother out of the three. Get that dust off. Both the Abranet and the Ligno are much smoother than the Galaxy. That's really apparent. The finish looks the same, but you can feel the grain is definitely a lot smoother here. A little bit of dust buildup, so you're already getting a little bit of wear, a little bit of clogging, pretty much as expected. So that's cool. Let's move on to the next wood type. I think we'll do the MDF now. We'll do the same thing. Let's go. Still lots of grip. There you go, you can see that really well. See the dust sort of marks here? That's the dust getting channeled through the little sections in between the hourglasses and getting pulled towards the holes. So you'll see the dust flow through because it's going through these channels and coming into the holes for the dust extraction. So you're getting really good dust extraction, very low heat, no clogging at all. The finish on the MDF, really good, very smooth, no pigtailing at all, no little swirls. What I'll do is I'll move this tape line now. So you can see there, the grain line. I'll put a bit of tape on this section here so we can compare. Karate chop, that's how you get a really straight edge when it comes to taping. Nah, I just made that up. Let's go with the Abranet. One question we get all the time is, do I have to line up all these little holes with the holes on my backing pad or my interface pad? The answer is no. They don't all have to line up. You simply have to just get a few, and the whole point of them being a multi-hole configuration is that there's plenty of holes, so as long as you get dust points there, you're not gonna have any problems. They don't have to exactly line up, so you can just pull them on and off as you want. Obviously the net, it's a net, so you don't have to worry about any of it at all. Let's sand. Well, we all know Abranet's great. Abranet Ace is a fantastic abrasive. It's an amazing net back abrasive. Fun fact, Mirka invented the net back abrasive, so just goes to show how they keep doing it over and over again. Key feature with the net back abrasive is you're always gonna have great dust extraction, and it's not really too different when it comes to this application. Really good extraction, really good sanding. The finishes are, I would say, pretty equal in terms of how they feel, how they look. One small difference. Abranet's exclusively a ceramic grain with a ceramic coating, so there's no aluminium oxide in this, which means it's not as aggressive. And so definitely saw that when I was sanding. You'll see sort of on this side with the Ligno, got out all those little grains and really smoothed it off a lot faster than the Abranet Ace did. While they both feel incredibly smooth, the Ligno did it a bit faster. So I think that's the sort of key difference there when it comes to maybe this style of MDF board. Roughly about here, this is Ligno on this side here, and then from about here to here, this is Ace, Abranet. Let's get onto the Galaxy. This is also a aluminium oxide grain, so I'd imagine it should strip equally as fast or nearly as fast as a Ligno, but I'm not expecting as good a finish or as good wear on the abrasive. So let's give it a go. Now, one thing that I've forgotten that I probably should have done, probably should have timed each one so I knew exactly how long I was sanding for, just sort of giving it a gut feel, you know, based on passes and time, pretty even, but for the sake of this video, I think we'll get a pretty close analysis. So, pretty much as predicted, it started stripping really fast. It's definitely gotten out those sort of grain marks. It smoothed it back a lot faster than, well, maybe not a lot faster, but definitely faster than the Abranet. Not as fast as the Ligno, and the finish as well, it feels quite furry. So it's smooth, it's cleared off. There is some light pigtailing in it or swirling, and it's furry, a lot furrier in comparison to the Ligno and the Abranet. And you can really see that dust build up now. So you can see it sort of build up around here and all through these sections. So yeah, it's really sort of starting to show that maybe woodwork isn't Galaxy's forte, but these are great on plaster. That's the MDF. Let's do a hardwood, and that's the final timber. Cool, we got our piece of Tasmanian oak here. So this is our hardwood of choice for the day. It's just a plank. We're just gonna sand it. It's already, you know, in good condition, but we're just gonna see if we can smooth it right up. Again, just to remind you all, 120 grits across the range. Let's go. Really good grip there. Again, you can really see the dust being channeled towards the holes. It's a brand new abrasive. I mean, I was only sanding a tiny bit, but you can't even see any dust on there at all. It's really clean, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, not really too much to say. Shaved it down, looks good, really smooth. A bit more pigtailing than I would have expected. However, it's already a pretty clean piece of hardwood, so probably a 180 would have been better to use on this. I've only got 120s in the Galaxy and the Abranet at the moment, so I've got some 180s in the Ligno, so I'll run over it and see if we can get those out just as a sort of bonus. But yeah, overall pretty impressed. So let's see what we can do with the Abranet. So let's go. Abranet, what do I think? You saw that tear off. You would have seen how much dust was actually kept in this. Shocked me a little bit because I'm used to, when you're sanding plaster with these, there's nothing at all. But yeah, a little bit of dust built up in there. It's not trapped or caught in there. It's still, super fresh, but you can see it was sort of starting to get built up around there, which will cause more heat, which will cause clogging. So what do I think of the finish? Well, being a ceramic backed abrasive with ceramic coating, it's usually always going to deliver the best finish. It's a premium abrasive, top of the range, most expensive probably out of the three. A little bit less swirling in the timber, so a little bit less scratch pattern. Still some scratch pattern, so as I sort of expected, it's a 120 grit, should be using a 180 grit. We'd see a better finish there. Less scratch pattern. Feels a little bit less smooth than the Ligno, but like the other ones, very comparable. You can sort of see that they look quite similar. There's definitely still some scratching, but I do notice a little bit more in that Ligno. And I believe all that is the aluminium oxide compound in the Ligno being a little bit more aggressive. So a 180 grit should solve that problem. Onto the Galaxy. Galaxy, let's go. Turn on your sander. Galaxy, my honest opinion, I wouldn't use it for hardwood. You can really see, I don't know if you can see that or if you saw that in that tear off, but you can see the resin just building up all around the grain already, and that was just this much of sanding. So this is not going to last long sanding hardwoods. And the finish, it's definitely furry, definitely lots of scratching. It's smoother before sanding, so it's not a good sign. I've seen these used a lot with plasterers and doors. Great finishes, really good abrasive, really cost effective, but yeah, wouldn't use it for hardwood at all. So is this the first and last abrasive you'll ever need when it comes to sanding wood? I'm not convinced. Maybe not exactly. I think that Mirka is an incredible brand, and I think that they make such a great range of abrasives, and we're really lucky to have them constantly innovating and constantly developing new technologies and specific abrasives for specific applications. So do I think that this will be the last one I ever need? Probably not. And why is that? Because I think that they'll best it, because that's what they continue to do. They always make new abrasives that are better than the last, or better for specific applications. When testing it across 3 different timbers, it was the best in terms of it didn't clog up, so you're going to get the longest life out of it. The aluminium oxide with the ceramic grain meant for a lot faster cutting, so you're going to save time there. Finish wise, I'd say it was pretty on par with the Abranet, but again, this is the premium abrasive, this is the most expensive abrasive. With all that said though, before you jump the gun and think, I don't need it, where do we think it would be very useful? Well, it comes in 100 packs for most grit sizes. It's a super durable abrasive. You saw me scrunch it up, you saw me throw it around. So if you're running a team and you've got other people using it, then it's a good abrasive for that. And I'm hoping, and what I'm expecting is it'll come in price point wise, a little bit below the Abranet Ace. So it should work out to be more cost effective. A bit more expensive than the Galaxy, but a little bit cheaper than the Ace. So hopefully that's where it lands, that's what we're expecting. We'll see that soon. If you're wondering, What sizes and what shapes do they come in? You can get them in the 150 mil, you can get them in the 125 mil, and you can get them in the 81 by 133 rectangular size. They also come in a variety of sheets. I believe it's 115 by 50 mil, and the grit sizes, at least for the 150 mil, is from 40 grit all the way through to 400 grit. So you're really going to be covered for heavy stripping all the way through to fine finishing when it comes to the Ligno. I think that's pretty much everything, guys. Really enjoyed it. I think it's a great abrasive. This is a very small test. It's a very controlled test. We've only used 120 grit. We've only used 3 different types of woods, and we've done it in our warehouse. So, we want to see you guys use it. We want to see it used in the field, used in different applications for different woods across, the whole of Australia and beyond. And we really want to know from you all, is this the one abrasive that you need for all wood sanding? So, with that said, we're going to be the first ones bringing them into Australia. We're going to have them up online, available for purchase online, pre-order, or in-store pre-order very soon. We're going to roll them into our current Black Friday promotion, which is if you buy 4 packs of abrasives, you get the 5th one free. So as a little bit of a launch, we're going to put these up on our store. You can pre-order them. They should be coming into stock December, early Jan. Hold my breath on that one. But if you wanted to pre-order and take advantage of the buy 4, get 1 free, jump online, get your abrasive, leave us a comment if you've already tried these. And if you want to see us do anything else with them, I've got a few different grit sizes. If you want to see them on a different material, different wood type. So what's next for us with the Ligno? We're going to get it into a few of our customers' hands, get into some painters, get into some woodworkers. We want to see it used in the field and make sure that it is as good as we think it is. So that way, when we bring it to market and when we sell it to you, you can have that confidence that it's going to perform how it should. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. Definitely helps us make this content. Happy sanding. We'll see you in the next one. Try that again. One more.